Thank you very much. My name is Naut Kusters, and I am working for a small NGO, and we are a dedicated NGO, ECEAT, the European Center for Eco and Agro-Tourism, and we've been working for 20 years already on promoting sustainability in the tourism sector, and our approach is more like a business-oriented approach. You can have a destination approach, but we work with businesses already for 20 years. And I would like to share a little bit my experiences in sustainability, and specifically I'm going to talk about the Travel Life initiative, which already was mentioned by Mr. Lars. It's an initiative which started in Europe. You saw already in the program mentioned the word Travel Life, and Travel Life is a program which has been set up by the European Travel Associations initially, but which is now going global. And the ANVR, the Dutch Tour Operator Association, is working with the Travel Life system. I'm going to mention what Travel Life is. I'm not trying to sell Travel Life. There are maybe also other options, or you can invent your own scheme. But I'm just showing how we have approached this in Europe with sustainability and to mainstream sustainability, because this is the aim. Sustainability is not equal to ecotourism or adventure tourism. So all the kinds of tourism should become sustainable. And it's the challenge to get it mainstream, and Travel Life is a program to reach that purpose. So a sector-wide approach, training and capacity building, implementation and recognition, and how associations, many of associations here in the room already participate with Travel Life, but those who are not, they might ask what's in for me, how can I join? So I shortly explain that. This is really my personal motivation why I was involved as one of the initiators of Travel Life. These are eco-labels in the hotel sector. And you might all know one of these labels, but actually nobody in the world, even myself, do know all of these labels. Most of them are in Europe. And they have all different types of criteria, different backgrounds. Most of them have set up either by governments or by NGOs. They are not industry-driven. They have no recognition. And I was involved in a European project, €1 million, between 2000 and 2004, a live project to bring the labels together under one roof and have a joint communication towards the travel sector. Because the travel sector, the tour operators, the travel agencies, they were not aware what are the labels and which accommodations have a label. So they had no distribution at all. I tried to bring them together. We had a 1 million project, 4 years, and they were fighting with each other. We did not succeed. And my lesson was, once you have different certificates, there are different interests behind it, and it's all human, it's all logical. It's very, very difficult to bring something together again. So based on that frustration, I saw an opportunity in the travel sector. And as you see the situation, it's less than 1% certified, no global coverage. Most regions in the world did not have any eco-label, so they really were not successful. And high management and audit costs, they were really dependent also on subsidies or voluntary work. So my vision was, and the vision of others who joined this vision, was to avoid this situation and to make one system, one approach, one standard and criteria system for the travel sector, to avoid that we will have in each country a different logo and a different criteria set. Because in the travel sector it will not work definitely, because everybody is working with everybody and it's very dynamic. Your partner today is not your partner tomorrow. And if everybody comes with a different checklist, it's not going to work, or it will be very expensive. So we brought around the table initiatives, and we speak about the year 2004. There was not so much going on, luckily, because sometimes an empty sheet can be very advantage if you want to start up something. We had a Tour Operators Initiative. This is from the UN, WTO, and UNEP, and they brought together in the year 2020 leading tour operators, which were doing something in sustainability. They were just trying and finding out each for them the wheel, and they were set together around the table, and they developed, with the support of Leeds University, some manuals and tools. They redefined the concept of sustainability because it was never done again. Sustainability was an issue in the paper industry or in all kinds of making industry, but not in the service sector. It was really something which had to be retaught, specifically in tourism, because the effect of a travel company on sustainability is not in your office, of course a little bit, but the most of the effect is in the supply chain. So it really needed a supply chain way of thinking regarding sustainability. Then we had the ANVR, and the ANVR made really a very revolutionary and still revolutionary decision in the year 2003, and they said all our members have to implement an environmental management system. They copied the system from a paper factory industry, so it didn't really work. It was very complicated, but the decision was very revolutionary, and still the ANVR is following that track. They call it environmental. Later we made it wider. We say sustainability is not only environment. This is something from the 1990s. Sustainability is also social issues, very important. So, and then we had APTA, big player, of course, in the travel industry with 8,000 or 9,000 members, many travel agencies. And they had already established a health and safety system which helped their members, their tour operators, evaluating hotels in the destinations. There is a UK law. In the UK they always say it's coming from the European Union, but they interpret the European law and make it very strict that each tour operator is responsible for the health and safety in the hotels they send the clients to. If a client gets sick or fall over the balcony, the tour operator is liable. So they had to develop a checklist, and they started to check every hotel individually, each tour operators. They said, no, we're going to do it differently. We make one common database managed by the British Tour Operator Association, and we gather the information from a hotel. If one tour operator collects this information is shared between all the tour operators based on a common checklist. So when I visited them in 2004, they said, let's do this also for sustainability. Let's measure the sustainability of the suppliers of the tour operators and bring this information into one common database and share this, and let's make sure there is one checklist. At that time, also individual tour operators like TUI Travel, TUI Deutschland, Hotelplan, they had their own checklist, and they were going to hotels measuring environmental criteria. And these hotels, I did it one time in Zell am See in Austria, they were really mad. They say, another tour operator coming with another different checklist. We like sustainability, but we don't like all these checks. So it was of course a good experiment, and conceptually it was okay, but it didn't work and it was very expensive. So those tour operators also agreed, based on their experience, that a joint approach was necessary. Next. So use the blank page situation, integrate existing experiences, full range of sustainability, and specifically the British said we have to add also social criteria. Nowadays we even have animal welfare criteria, so we've broadened the concept of sustainability very wide, ethical code of conduct, etc., etc. As wide as you can think, we have included it into our approach. What was also important, and that's why it was very valuable that the industry was really on table in that project, make it hands-on and practical. So not too complicated, make it simple. What we did basically was we asked leading tour operators, what are you doing in sustainability? Tell us what you do. And we just put this in a checklist. So we didn't think from the academic perspective. We didn't even look at international standards. We just asked the tour operators, what are you doing? And put this logically in a checklist. Added training to it, added best practice to it, examples to it. So we made it very, very practical. And important is that we enabled associations to work with their members. The philosophy was that every 10 years a new responsibility is coming up for associations, and sustainability is the next thing where associations have a role to support and to help their members. Not all associations are yet convinced about it, but we believe that this is a role associations can take up in order to create more efficiency and reduce cost for the members. So this was the project. These are all the partners. We had APTA and the Dutch Association as the key partners, supported by UNEP, money from the EU, academic input from Leeds University. After 4 years of project discussions, it was a difficult process. We had a checklist, a training, an approach, a website, we agreed that this is the way forward, and then we branded it as Travel Life. And the word life stands for human life and nature life. So it is red and green, the social issue and the environmental issue combined. And this was really new because the most labels you saw, they only focused on environment. And we said, no, we want to have both sides. So in the end, you get, after a project, you have to continue. Some projects ends after the money ends, but we had a vision, we wanted to continue. So there are now two branches within Travel Life. One is for tour operator and travel agencies, and this branch is helping tour operators and travel agencies to help to implement sustainability into their company and supply chain. And this is managed by my organization. This is ECEAT. And another part of Travel Life is a hotel system, this database with sustainability information about hotels. And this is managed by the British Tour Operator Association, APTA. And presently they have 10 people employed who are only gathering information about hotels and certifying these hotels based on international standards. So I will speak further about the Travel Life branch which I'm responsible for and which is also more relevant for the audience here. This is the tour operator and travel agency part of Travel Life. These tour operators are supporting Travel Life. These are just only the big ones. Travel Life is not only for large tour operators. There are many small tour operators who are working it. But you see we have, specifically in Europe, the key tour operators, Kioni, Thomas Cook, TUI, they are really involved and supporting it. But also in Southeast Asia, we have Kiri Travel, Exotissimo Travel, which are working on it. So it's getting global. Travel Life for tour operators follows a step-by-step approach. We want to reach as many as possible companies, and we want to get them involved. Every company can follow its own track, but it's not our aim to only certify or recognize the few which are good and ask a lot of money for it. No, we want to have a change of the industry. You have Travel Life engaged, so yes, you need to be engaged, you need to appoint a sustainability coordinator, this person has to be trained, and you have to start implementing it and see already what you do as best practices. Then we have a partner level, which you can reach if you comply with a minimum set of criteria. It's not very strong, but you get already a little logo which you can use, and it's like an incentive to continue. And then the certified level is really complying to international standards. You might know there is the Global Sustainable Tourism Council, which is a multi-stakeholder organization set up by the UN and other stakeholders. And they have set strong criteria for sustainable tourism. And if you are Travel Life certified, you are complying with this international standard. So we have a website which is, thanks to the support of the European Union, in different projects, we translated this already into 15 languages, including Russian and Bulgarian, etc., etc. So it's important. We found out that you can. Most travel agencies would speak English, but learning about sustainability can best be done in your own language, and there's a lot of technical terms. Registration, we work as much as possible online. So we start with training and capacity building. We expect that every company who joins Travel Life and is engaged will start with the basic training. We explain the criteria, but we explain also the issues behind it, the sustainability problems, and very important, the role of a travel agency. A travel agency is not responsible to solve all the problems related with tourism and sustainability. There is a role for governments, there is a role for NGOs, there is a role for education, but travel agencies can do little steps, and we focus on these little steps. You take your responsibility, and others take their responsibility. So that's what the training is about. The training is based upon the logic of a tour operator or travel agency. You have the internal management. This is your office, your staff, and the energy you use, the paper you use inside of your office. You have full control. You can make a lot of decisions. The supply chain, your role is much weaker. Huh? In the supply chain, your responsibility is lesser, but you have a role in preferring buying sustainable products. Then your customer, you have to make your customer aware about sustainability options and about his behavior, and the destinations you have less influence. This is the training. Everything is online, interactive. This is about environmental management in the office. We make this training for Quality Travel Alliance, a German association of 7,000 travel agents. And we try to make it as interactive as possible, so that also staff from travel agencies can learn what they can do, simple things they can do on sustainability in their office. Start with your own office and then go into the supply chain. Examples of tour operators which already, or travel agencies which already implemented certain criteria, best practices, and the exam. So this is all online. It leads to a training certificate. We also have classroom trainings. We have, as we speak, we have a training in Bulgaria together with APTA, the Bulgarian association, also here available somewhere. We gave already trainings in 30 countries, 2-day trainings to more than 8,000 travel agents and inbound tour operators. These are some of the pictures in Nepal, in Thailand, and together with ATA in Thailand, and in Kenya. This is the management cycle. So we are a management system and a compliance system. So it's the ISO 14001 management logic is in TravelLife. And this is coming from this UNEP Tour Operators Initiative approach. We have adapted that into our logic. These are criteria, there are obligations, and there are voluntary criteria which you have to comply to. For the partner level, it's lower than for the certified level. And it's focused on the logic of the tour operator or the travel agency. Everything is online. We deliver a lot of online tools. We do the auditing online. We have the reporting guidance system online. It's quite sophisticated. What is new is that we just launched, together with the Global Sustainable Tourism Council, a database with all certified hotels on the globe. It was not yet existing, so all these eco-labels you saw in the first slide, we brought all the hotels together in one system, so tour operators or distribution agencies, travel agencies, they can find which hotel is sustainable and which not. And they can publish this into their catalogs or just search if they like. TravelLife certified, very proud to tell you that 2 days ago we had the TravelLife certified award was given to TUI UK, I believe the largest tour operator, single tour operator in the world, by Mr. Talib Rifai, just 2 days ago. So TravelLife is, meanwhile, it's really the initiative, I would say. So in that way, we have reached the goal that there is no many different initiatives which are competing with each other. Therefore, we can also keep the cost very low relatively to other initiatives because we try to create masses. It has been endorsed as a key initiative by the European Union, and we have harmonized the criteria also with some European Union instruments. We get subsidy also from the lifelong learning program at this moment, and Croatia is one of the partners. These are associations in Europe which have already committed to TravelLife, and it's basically most of the associations are involved. And I'm going in 1 month to Portugal, and they also showed interest, so there are a little bit of white spots, but basically we have covered Europe with our approach. But we not only a European initiative, this is Brastoa, the Brazilian Tour Operator Association. We are signing here an MOU. This is already 3 years ago. Kenya, Africa. We've been in South Africa. We've given training. And what is very important strategically, of course, is to work with Southeast Asia. Tourism is going to happen there. Hundreds of millions of tourists will enter that region in the future. And we signed an agreement with PATA just 3 months ago on cooperation, and we had some trainings in Bangkok recently. So how can you participate? TravelLife is very flexible. It's not about the logo TravelLife or the brand TravelLife. It's about having a joint approach. If you would like to join, we can translate the materials into your own language. If you want to monitor your members' progress, you can do that. You can define national baseline standards. It's also very flexible. And monitoring compliance. So I just came back from Myanmar, where they defined the Myanmar TravelLife partner standards. You don't have to use TravelLife as your branding. You can also use another branding. And we work also with single login. That means that members who log in into your website, they don't have to log in again in TravelLife, and you can present the training really in your own branding if you wish to do so. Thank you for your attention. I hope it was not too long, but okay.